I think now we are good to start our certification program. You know, um, important negotiation skills. So if you are there, type here. I am still here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the project template that will be our main element when we think about PBL, problem based learning. Because I was running, I just need to take a deep breath. Okay, PBL, problem based learning. I can come here and just present for you guys a series of conceptual elements, or I can come here and develop with you a series of practical exercises, okay? So let's run a simulated project and understand what is Lean Six Sigma in practice. That's the idea, okay? That's why it is so important to have access to this project file, because then you'll be able to pretty much observe everything that I'm doing, okay? But before that, why do you think it is important to learn Lean Six Sigma? Why it is so important to learn Lean Six Sigma? So think that we do have in this planet a certain amount of problems that very likely will never come to an end. Is that right? There is one thing that we can be sure, that is, we will always have problems to solve. Does it make sense? Some problems have known solutions. So for example, if you understand that the brightness is not good enough, you can just go ahead and turn the light on. Simple like that. But there are many other problems that we simply don't know the solution. We have no clue about the root causes. Does it make sense? Yes? So for these problems, we call systemic problems, or if you prefer, chronic problems, yeah? Or if you prefer, structural problems. For chronic problems, systemic problems, structural problems, Lean Six Sigma is by far the most powerful method. So see that Lean Six Sigma is not applicable for all types of problems. We are talking pretty much about one certain type of project, okay, or of problem. And you'll be solving this problem via a project, okay? You'll be running a project. Okay, wonderful. But what's the final benefit? What's the final benefit of learning Lean Six Sigma? So take a look. Many companies are looking for professionals that know about Lean Six Sigma. For example, Novelis, I'm talking about aluminum rolling, Lean Six Sigma. We have Heineken, a completely different segment. They are looking for professionals that know about Lean Six Sigma. General Mills, I'm talking about cereal bars, cereals, yogurt. They are looking for professionals that know about Lean Six Sigma. Portobello Construction, they are looking for professionals that know about Lean Six Sigma. So it is something that will definitely impact your professional career. This is my objective with you guys. I feel very confident that by learning, and this is on top of the certification itself, it's important to have a document, an evidence that you are a certified white belt, a certified yellow belt. But on top of everything, it's important that you have resources, things to say, or values to be added when you sit at business tables, okay? Does it make sense? And then we have students from literally all over the globe. We have students from Brazil. These are real students. I took snapshot from LinkedIn, yeah? United States, Mexico, and at this point we have students from 108 countries, okay? And by the way, we have just passed the mark of 130,000 students from 108 countries, okay? So, believe or not, yeah, you guys are part of an important list of more than 100,000 students, and from all different sectors. We have students like Joana Lin from Emirates, we have students as Lanka from Crystal, we have students as Sujaya from Granger, and then you see all the way from manufacturing to service. We have Amazon, we have United Nations, and again, these are real students that I took from LinkedIn, okay? Manufacturing, banking, so see Santander, Continental, manufacturing, Itaú, and once again, it is definitely a journey that can promote an important transformation in your career. No one in this planet is running waves with this number of people. Here we have literally thousands of people in this beautiful Jan 5th, 2026, 2026, yes. Thousands of people wanting to learn this powerful method, okay? Wonderful. Now, I need to give a few pieces of information about the certificate itself because of the credibility, yes, of these documents. So you can check. My life is an open book. My name is Marcelo Machado Fernandes. My company takes my family name, Machado Fernandes, yeah? And you can search online. You will find on Google Scholar my papers, my master's dissertation, my PhD thesis. You will see also that I am a certified master black belt by the American Society for Quality, and you'll see that I am a Minitab certified training provider. So what's the point here? The point here is this set of accreditations on top of the certificate from the Council for Six Sigma certification, and you can check on their websites. This combination is unique, okay? The combination of an instructor that is certified by Minitab, certified by ASQ, American Society for Quality, the most rigorous certification organization in terms of quality in the world, and also your certificate accredited by a provider that is listed by the Council for Six Sigma certification. This is unique. So it has a lot to do with the credibility of your certificate. If you understood that, type here for me, credibility. Yeah? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We are about to start our journey. I need just maybe 2 minutes, 2 more minutes, so of introduction, so we'll get started. I am based out of Brazil. My major is in electrical engineering. I have a post-graduation in industrial engineering, a master's in industrial engineering, and a PhD by the University of São Paulo State University, yeah? I am a certified black belt and master black belt by ASQ. I had a chance to work 5 years for Philips, 7 years for Delphi, and 7 years for Nielsen. And right now, I would say around 6 to 7 years, yeah? I need to update that to 2026. Working as a Minitab partner and also in my training company, okay? Anyone that has struggled, in your childhood, type here for me. If you feel comfortable to say that you had a hard time, let's say, when you were a child. Type here for me, type me, yeah. I come from a family of musicians. My father is a maestro, my mother is a piano teacher, and we have this amazing food in our city, in Itajubá, in our state, Minas Gerais, and in fact in our country, yeah, and all sorts of sweets. And why am I saying that? Because I don't know how much you know about the Brazilian history. 1980s, the inflation was literally insane, and the economy in general was pretty much broken. The social differences in Brazil were even worse. So that was pretty much my context during my childhood, yeah. And then I remember my siblings and I, we are in four, yes, Marina, myself, Paulinho, and Ana Luisa. We were sitting on Sundays after lunch, at my mom's sofa watching a movie. My mom is divorced from my father, and we were watching these movies, and every time that beautiful landscape from a big city, was showing up, I used to say to my mom that I would be there. Someday I would be there. And my mother always motivating me very much. And the fact is that when I finished graduation and I started working for Philips Displays at São José dos Campos, close to São Paulo, during my onboarding process, I had a chance to meet Luis Cláudio Santos. And Luis Cláudio Santos presented to me the famous Philips Quality Memory Jogger. Okay, so Luis Cláudio was my mentor, yes, and he presented to me the Philips Quality Memory Jogger. So this very same book, Philips Quality Memory Jogger, that was the genesis of Lean Six Sigma in my life. Okay, that was the genesis. Here you can find Pareto, you can find root cause analysis, you can find Ishikawa, you can find hypothesis test, a little bit, control chart, control plan, and with pretty much this content plus his mentoring, I was able to run my first, I would say, Lean Six Sigma in quotes, because at that time we were using PDCA, Lean Six Sigma project at Philips, in a process of application of hot melt. Yeah, it's a kind of hot glue. And then, with that, believe or not, this project was recognized in the United States, and I had a chance to fly to United States to present my project there. So see that I did not have a proper bed. I was literally sleeping on the floor in a mattress. I had few bags, but the other bags were supermarket bags, from Supermercado Alvoradas in Itajubá. But I was there with my passport and my ticket, flying to United States and going to present my project on a limo, and receiving an international recognition and starting to live the dream that was dreamed at my mom's sofa, So on top, probably you guys noticed that I am a little bit hard to give up. It's not easy to defeat me. You guys just saw it here. Yeah, you need a lot to make me to give up. I don't give up on things that I believe. On things that I believe, I go to the end. I go to the end. I do my 200%. if it is something that I understand the purpose and I connect to the purpose. I don't give up. On top of that, being correctly mentored with the right method and the right mentor, right method and right mentor, made me to reach this stage in my professional career. And from there, I had a chance to go many times to the United States, to be interviewed by American TVs, to present in conferences, to be recognized because of the certifications, and also to run projects in India, in South Africa. I had a chance to go to Dubai, to United States, as I said, to run trainings in Poland. And again, never underestimate the power of right method plus right mentor, okay? I don't know if I am a mentor that is as good as Luis Claudio Santos. Probably not. Probably not. But the fact is, I am being able to help thousands and thousands of people. The method is the same. I'll be using the very same method used by Luis Claudio. And I know that next Monday, okay, next Monday, we will be celebrating an important achievement from you guys in this very relevant method, and it will be the beginning of an important transformation in your career. If you believe that it is possible to promote a positive transformation in your career, type here transformation, okay? Because it worked for me, an ordinary person, a simple person, full of limitations. Because it worked for me, I know it can work for many people. So I help people to get the same results. And once again, I have a good number of examples to show you guys in terms of career transformation. Okay? Beautiful. So now, after this introduction, I need to know if you are ready to get started in the content itself. Okay? I will be sharing the link of the project template as well, okay? But if you want just to look at my screen, we are good, okay? So if you want just to look at my screen, we are good. Yeah? Ready to go? Okay. So in case you want to have some literature about this method, yeah, I recommend the Yellow Belt Handbook from ASQ, okay? Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma is a method to reduce waste and variation. And if you want, you can consider that waste is a broader umbrella and that variation is part of this umbrella. That's okay, not a problem, okay? And what's the thing in reducing waste? What's the thing in reducing waste? Waste reduction is the fastest way to optimize profit. I'll say that again. Waste reduction is the fastest way to optimize profit. You know that 100% of the organizations, they must be profitable. They must be profitable. Otherwise, they simply do not survive. Simple like that. So if I am buying cheese bread, I'm buying cheese bread in a certain restaurant or bakery here in Brazil. And I have revenue of $1 million per year, okay? If I have only this piece of information, $1 million per year, it does not necessarily mean anything. This business can be broken. I want to know EBITDA, or just to make it as simple as possible, profit. I want to know profit. Okay, out of these 1 million, after I pay all my expenses and taxes and everything, what is the final number? Oh, 200,000 dollars, for example. Oh, wonderful. So we have the profit is around 20%, okay? What is the fastest way to make 20% become 30%, okay, or 40%, or 50%? The fastest way is definitely to eliminate elements that are not connected to what is important to your customer. So waste is pretty much anything in the process that is not connected to something that is important to your customer. Do you guys understand that? So if I have a process step in the manufacturing line of this bottle of water that spends, I don't know, $200,000, you know, just to make a letter M in this bottle of water, I can question, I can ask, I can argue that maybe this process step is not connected to anything that is important to customer. Because what do I want? I want to drink water with a certain set of characteristics to meet my requirements. The definition of quality by ISO is the degree in which a product or service meets customer requirements. Simple like that. Okay, so if a certain process step is not connected to something that is important to customer, I can argue that this is waste. And waste must be eliminated, must be minimized. From 0 to 10, yes? From 0 to 10, how clear is that for you? From 0 to 10, how clear is that for you? Yeah, beautiful, excellent. And then in order to reduce waste and reduce variation, you guys will see that, we will be using 5 steps, okay? 5 steps. And we call this demake. So please take a look here, demake, okay? And if you are taking notes, type here for me, I am taking notes. If you are taking notes, type here for me, I am taking notes. Yeah. Okay? Okay. And so this is our roadmap for our certification program. This is our roadmap for our certification journey, okay? And define what? First of all, I need to define the problem to be solved, because it's not all problems that we'll be tackling. We need to pick our battles. So we will not be addressing all problems. Okay, we'll be picking, selecting the right battles, the more relevant battles, and I'll be explaining how to do that. After that, we must measure the size of the problem. Then we'll be analyzing the root causes. Then we'll be designing and implementing solutions, and then we'll be controlling the improved process. So again, define, let's define, select the right problem. Let's measure the size of the problem. Let's talk about root causes, and then let's design and implement solutions, and let's maintain the positive results. Okay? Wonderful. And then for each step, I will be breaking down into smaller pieces. Okay? So let's listen to the voice of the customer. Let's create a project charter. Let's map current process in terms of measure phase. We'll be talking about measurement system analysis, how to check stability, capability. Then root cause analysis. First of all, we need to talk about potential causes. Then let's prioritize potential causes and validate with data, with statistics, okay? Then let's identify the potential solutions with the experts. Let's find the best solutions and execute the action plan. And let's validate process improvement. Then let's control, let's maintain the positive results, okay? Let's maintain the positive results. Wonderful. So, in order to apply the MAKE framework, I wanna present here for you a case study. And it's a very simple case study because I want to manage your energy. I want to manage your energy so we can focus on the tools and techniques, okay? On the tools and techniques. So it's a very simple case study. Take a look here. Alice is the owner of a restaurant who really cares about her customer satisfaction. She decided to open a restaurant to provide people a unique experience when it comes to pizza. Unfortunately, reality has been a little different than expected, and she has been facing major problems in her business. Customers have been complaining about delivery time and quality. Alice needs your help to improve her processes. Otherwise, she'll keep losing revenue, profit, and will likely need to close her restaurant. Okay? So, it is impossible to get started on a Lean Six Sigma project without listening to the voice of the customer. So I'll say that again. If you want to be a real problem solver, an expert in Lean Six Sigma or any other method, the very first thing is you must be competent in listening to the voice of the customer, okay? And I have few things to reinforce here for you. Do you believe it is natural? Do you believe it is something that we can do very easily, to put ourselves on other people's shoes? Empathy, actively listening to what other people have to tell. Do you believe this is part of our nature? Or this is not necessarily part of our nature? What do you guys think? Do you believe this is part of our nature or not necessarily? Do you believe people in general, they like to listen to other people's point of view? Yeah, by nature, we are selfish. All of us. I'm sorry to say that. All of us. Maybe you don't know that. Or maybe you didn't want to be selfish. But by nature, all of us, we are selfish at a certain level. So you must practice, you must exercise listening to the voice of the customer. And on top of that, mainly for the process owner, when listens, to improvement opportunities, when the voice of the customer is full of complaints, do you believe process owners, they receive these complaints, these improvement opportunities, very friendly, very open? Definitely not. So the very first thing you need to write down, VOC is an exercise, because many times we don't collect the voice of the customer because we believe that we know the voice of the customer. Okay. One of the most common mistakes to believe that you already know the voice of the customer, or that the voice of the customer is not important. Is not important. Yeah. How do you collect the voice of the customer? There are many different instruments that you can use to collect the voice of the customer, but before that, you must segment your customers. Okay? Please segment your customers. Because some customers will ask for hot water. I prefer hot water. And other customers will ask for cold water. So what do you do? So you must segment using a list of criteria, or at least one criterion, to rank your customers. Okay? The most common strategy to rank customers is by revenue. So if you have 100 customers in this restaurant, in this pizzeria, and let's suppose 90 or 80% of your revenue comes from 20 customers, I am not saying that you will not properly treat the other customers. What I'm saying is that you must give special attention to your segment that represents the most important stratum in terms of revenue. Do you guys understand that? If you have a person that goes there every single day and spends, you know, more money than anyone else, this voice is very much important. Very, very, very much important. So please segment your customer. Based on criteria like revenue and frequency. All customers are important, but there are segments that are even more important. You must give special attention to this segment, okay? To this segment. And it's very common that the best projects come from the voice of the best customers. Again, it's very common that the best projects, the most relevant projects, come from the voice of the best customers. Okay? And then there are different mechanisms to collect the data. I have three that I consider three of my favorite voice of the customer collection tools, okay? My top three VOC collection tools are a survey, okay? So what's a survey? You can do this for free. You can set a Google form and send to your customers via WhatsApp or via email. You can even run surveys on papers, you know. You can ask them to fulfill a survey and then you can give, for example, 5%, 10% discount in your next experience, you know, something like that. Survey is good in terms of sample size, but remember that the response rate, normally, if you are very lucky, you get like 10%, 20%, yeah? And there is an important problem, limitation with survey, okay? Type here for me, if you had a chance to go to a restaurant, you know, and you did not have a good experience, type here me. If you had recently, you know, an experience to go to a restaurant and the food was not good, yeah? Type here me. Okay, wonderful. If the restaurant owner comes to you and asks, how was the food? And let's suppose the food was terrible. Do you say, I didn't like it, I don't want to pay for that? Do you say yes or not? Do you normally express your lack of satisfaction? Normally no. Normally no. So, customers, they lie. In terms of continuous improvement, in terms of getting information, improvement opportunities, you know, survey can be tricky. And the best way to break this ice, you know, is to use another method called one-on-one. Just you and me, and then you will be begging for brutally honest feedback. Please give me a brutally honest feedback. Are you guys following me? Yes, many times they just, as Joannes said here, they just don't go back anymore to the restaurant. And that's another point, that is, sometimes we call this unspoken voice of the customer. Sometimes, this is important to write down. Please be aware that we have spoken and unspoken voice of the customer. Ay, ay, ay. What's the unspoken voice of the customer? The person is not getting there. It's not going there. Sometimes the person is not going there because he or she was traveling. Yeah? But many times, a good example of unspoken voice of the customer is what you observe. So if you observe that the person tried, took a bite, and then, you can see the facial expression, and then I don't want this anymore. Or the person is not eating anymore. This is a voice. You don't need to ask. You don't need to ask for the obvious. Are you guys following me? So indirect observation is my 30 VOC collection tool. Indirect observation. Indirect data collection. For example, observation. Observation. The problem with one-on-one and indirect observation is that it's much harder to get a larger sample size. But the thing is, the data points that you get, they are more accurate. Type following if you understood that. Type following if you understood that. Yeah? And so see that in this case, I do have some spoken voices. Unfortunately, reality has been a little different than expected, and she has been facing major problems in her business. Customers are complaining about delivery time and quality. Yeah? Then we can rerun surveys or one-on-ones or improve your frequency in terms of observation to get more details. Are you guys following me? Yeah? To get more details about that. Wonderful. Type from 0 to 10, how much does it make sense that you must get started by VOC? VOC is your best source of improvement opportunities, so you can pick, your problems to be solved, yeah? Using, for example, Lean Six Sigma, yeah? And then let's suppose there is a very important customer that says, I want the pizza from Alice in 30 seconds, full of olives from Spain, and I don't want to pay for that. I want my Ferrari now, 2 Ferraris, and I don't want to pay for that. It's a voice of the customer. I am saying, why can't I meet this request? Yeah? Marcelo, according to ISO, Quality is the degree in which a product or service meets customer requirements. I am giving you a requirement. I want 10 pizzas full of olives from Spain, very expensive, and I don't want to pay for that. That's my voice. Why can't Alice meet? What's the problem if Alice meets this voice? Type here for me. It's not realistic, but what if Alice meets this voice? It will be bleeding where? I will be hurting, damaging. It's unprofitable. Beautiful Octavia. Beautiful Octavia. It's unprofitable. So remember, all businesses, they must be profitable. So we call this voice of the business, VOB. I must always balance VOC with VOB. I wanna work to have my customers as happy as possible, and at the same time, my business must be financially healthy. My business must be profitable. So you, as a white belt, as a yellow belt, or maybe as a future green belt, black belt, you must be addicted to listening to the VOC, but at the same time understanding business strategy, and at the same time understanding if the business is profitable or not. So it has to do with going beyond just checking if the things that you are doing right now at your job, they are interesting, they are cool, you feel good in doing that. No, it's more than that. You need to understand how much does it cost, this scrap. So if this scrap costs 1 cent and you are giving your life in this project, and then there is another scrap that costs $1,000, you know, why are you spending time on an initiative that promotes savings of $1,000 per year versus other opportunities where you can get $1 million, $2 million per year? Are you guys following me? VOC is an exercise. You must listen to VOC all the time. But you keep one eye on VOC and another eye on your business. Don't be fool. Don't be fool. If you believe that you need to meet your customer requirements no matter what, this is wrong. This is a limited way of running your business, okay? And VOB is pretty much the financial performance. The financial performance. VOC, VOB, two legs. VOC, VOB. And I have something to tell you. They are not mutually exclusive, okay? Mutually exclusive means, Marcelo, talk about your shoes, talk about your shirt. Okay, these are two different things, mutually exclusive, okay? No. VOC is somehow there is an intersection area. There is an overlap between VOC and VOB. Meaning, if you properly manage both, you can find a way to meet VOC and at the same time meet VOB. Because if your customers are truly happy, and if you have a mechanism, a process that minimize wastes and maximize value to your customer, there is a very high chance that this is profitable. There is an intersection, yeah? Yeah, there's an intersection. Beautiful. Win-win. Win-win. Beautiful. Win-win. Yeah, VOB, voice of the beast. I'll be talking more about VOB, okay? Now, I need to ask you guys something. If I tell you that a certain process is broken, or if the delivery time, a certain process is broken in terms of delivery time, what would you like to know? What would you like to know? If I tell you, every time that I order this pizza, you know, in-house, it's take way too much time. What would you guys like to know? What causes? Okay, this is fair enough. The bottlenecks, okay. The root cause, I like that. But before thinking of root causes, you know, 3 weeks ago I had a surgery on inguinal hernia. Yeah, a very fancy surgery, you know, by robot, you know, like just 3 spots with the camera, and it's like a video game, you know. And then they put these what's the name? Yeah, so they put a certain material, yeah, inside my that will make my muscles, you know, supposedly are stronger, and so the surgeon requested TCP, yeah, in order to evaluate exactly the size of the hernia. Are you guys following me? Are you guys following me? It is very important that you fight as a yellow belt, as a continuous improvement professional, to have the proper size of the problem. So I had on the left side a hernia by the size of 2 centimeters. Ah, beautiful. Okay, 2 centimeters. Okay, that's the size of the hernia. On the other side, 1.8. Okay, 1.8. So I can properly manage the surgery. Are you guys following me? So it's very important that you translate. It's mandatory, in fact. It is mandatory that you translate. It is mandatory that you translate VOC into something measurable. Capital letters. Measurable. Okay? We call this critical to quality. And quality in a sense of a customer. So it's really critical to customer. Critical to customer, okay? Critical to quality, critical to customer. Yeah? So, for example, when my customer says that we have a delivery time problem, how do I measure that? How do I measure that? Okay? How do I measure that? So let's put here CTQ1. CTQ1. Okay, critical to quality 1. So pizza delivery time. Yes, how do I measure that? So it is the time from pizza order to delivery at the table. Okay, so in-house measured in minutes. Are you guys following me? So this is CTQ1. And I do have another CTQ that is pizza quality. That is pizza quality, okay? So how do I measure pizza quality? How do I measure pizza quality? Oh, this pizza is good, this pizza is not good. By the facial reaction of the customer. How do I measure that? So the way I'll be measuring pizza quality is the percentage of pizzas that had an official complaint from a customer. Let's call these bad pizzas. So I'm gonna calculate bad pizzas divided by total pizzas. Are you guys following me? This is very important. This is very, very, very important. You must have a mechanism to quantify the size of the problem. This is very important. Please don't run Lean Six Sigma projects where at the end you have things like, now the process is standardized. Now the process is, it's more robust, you know? Now no. I wanna have things. The average delivery time before was 15 minutes and we want to reduce to less than 10 minutes. We got 10% of pizzas that were bad, that customers complained, that they got the pizza and then they said this pizza is not good. And we want to go from 10% to less than 1%. And why do we want to have this level of objectiveness? Why do we want to, go more black and white? Why? Because this is the best way for you to validate if you are going in the right direction or not. This is very, very, very much important. So once again, VOC, voice of the customer, and CTQ, okay? This is part of the listening to the voice of the customer, yeah? If you have already learned something that opened your eyes, if you had at least one aha moment, type here for me, eye-opening. If you had at least one eye-opening moment, type here for me, eye-opening. Now let's create a project charter. What's a project charter? Project charter will be using pretty much problem statement and goal statement. Okay, for problem statement, we'll be using the famous pyramid structure. And project charter is the best way for you to set, expectations with everybody involved in the process, okay? And by the way, the pyramid structure can be observed in the way the problem was presented here for us, because the pyramid structure is pretty much an introduction to the problem. Yeah, so we have an introduction to the problem, and then VOC and VOB. Do you guys agree that we have here? Let me show you. We have here VOC, this is VOC, VOC, and we have here VOB, voice of the business. Because if we don't improve this process, we'll keep losing revenue, profit, and there is a risk that this restaurant we need to close. So please, I'm sorry if I am being repetitive, but I want to reinforce that. Type VOC and VOB if you understood that in this problem statement we have VOC and also VOB. Type here for me. Type VOC and VOB if you understood that we have VOC and VOB. And then goal statement, we'll have one per CTQ. Yeah, so let's do for CTQ1. Yeah, and goal statement. The best way to write down a good goal statement is by using SMART principle. A CTQ must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let me show you guys how does it work. Let me take the first CTQ, okay? So, pizza delivery time. It's the time from pizza order to delivery at the table measured in minutes. Interesting. What type of pizza? From pizza order to delivery table in-house. Specifically for vegetarian pizza at the main restaurant. Do you guys understand that? I don't want to boil the ocean. You don't want to solve all problems in your corporate. Don't do that. And that's why you need to listen to the VOC and VOB, because you want to pick as few elements as possible. You don't want to tackle everything, to address everything. You want to select few things. If possible, you want to select just one. As I said here, let's focus only on vegetarian pizza. Marcelo, but this is, I think it will be too easy. No, because we'll be deep diving. There is one way to do vegetarian pizza. Another process is pepperoni pizza. We go deep. And many times the things that you learn from the investigation process of vegetarian pizza, you can replicate, you can leverage to other types of pizza. So please be specific, because crop your scope as much as possible, because you can easily get overwhelmed. Okay? Measurable, yes, measurable, because we are talking, so specific. Let me color code here. Specifically. Vegetarian pizza in the main restaurant. Measurable. Minutes. And then you may be lucky enough to have historical data. Type historical data if you understand that. You may have good systems in order to understand that right now, yes, right now, we are operating with a delivery time around, 15 minutes, let's say, around 15 minutes. You may be lucky enough to have something like that, yeah? And then you can go ahead and write down here, we want to reduce from an average of 15 minutes, yeah, to let's use, we want to reduce from an average of 15 minutes. You may have the information that in the past we were able to deliver in less than 10 minutes. Or you may have the information from your customer that your customer wants in less than 10 minutes. So we want to reduce from an average of 15 minutes to less than 10 minutes. Okay? And we will be considering that this target is achievable. It must be achievable, because if you set something that is too hard to reach, people will be demotivated. And if it is too loose, too easy, people get lazy or demotivated too, for other reasons, yeah? So you need to properly calibrate. This is not easy. And you can, to be honest, you can update your goal statement during your project, as long as everybody is aligned, especially the leadership team, okay? Does it make sense? But please don't get stuck. No analysis paralysis. Go ahead and start your project with the best data that you have. And if you don't have any data, you need to run a data collection, okay? Beautiful? Wonderful. Let me change this color here. If you are learning, and if you are happy because you are learning new things, type here for me, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. If you are happy to be here, if you are starting 2026, with joy, type here for me, happy. Yeah? Beautiful. It must be relevant and time-bound. So relevant. Relevant is pretty much VOB. It's pretty much VOB, so I'm gonna copy this. Yeah? I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy this. And let's see. I'm gonna copy this. Relevant. It has to do with VOB. And this goal must be reached in less than 3 months, okay? Time bound. For a Lean Six Sigma project, I do not recommend more than 3 months, okay? I strongly recommend that you keep this in max 3 months, okay? Max 3 months. Okay, so this is a good example of a goal statement, okay? Now we need to do the very same thing for CTQ2. Yeah, so Control C, Control V. CTQ2 is pizza quality. Pizza quality. Yeah, pizza quality. Guys, if you want, you can make a copy of this file, make a copy, okay? And then you can add your notes in case you want, okay? So CTQ2, pizza quality, pom pom pom, pizza quality. So C, pizza quality, percentage is definitely something measurable. It is definitely something measurable. We'll be also focusing on specifically on vegetarian pizza. We want to reduce, and you may be lucky enough to have some historical data in terms of quality, and then you realize that you were operating, let's say, around maybe 10%. Yeah, around 10% on average. Yeah, we'll learn that average may be dangerous. We want to reduce from an average of 10% to less than 5%. 5%. Yeah, and then see that percentage is also measurable. Percentage is also measurable. I'll do the same here. Alice needs to your help to improve her process, otherwise she'll keep losing revenue, profit, and will likely need to close her restaurant. This goal must be reached in less than 3 months, so the rest is the same. So type here for me smart if you understood smart, and now I'm gonna take maybe just a few minutes to address questions, ask questions. Can we have another link where we can make a copy? Yeah, the link is in the description of this video, okay? Please, questions about project charter, CTQ, VOC, or goal statement. I wanna answer at least 3 questions. Let's see if I can. Wouldn't the time be dependent on the project? Very good question, Carillo. Yeah, so 3 months is pretty much a general rule of thumb. To be honest, depending on your company, depending on the scope of your project, it may be 6 months, it may be 1 year. But because Lean Six Sigma project is a concentrated effort, it's pretty much a task force. You don't want to have 1 year, 2 years, because see, you will very likely have a core team and an extended team. And normally we run weekly meetings. Yeah? You definitely don't want to use these resources, and they are not dedicated resources. You need to ask these people to participate in your project as pretty much a side work, you know? So it depends on the project, definitely, but my personal recommendation is max 6 months. Marcelo, but what if I need 1 year, 2 years? Maybe you want to crop the scope and phase. You can phase your project. So you run phase 1 in 3 months, 2 months, in 3 months, 6 months. Then you close phase 1 and then you start phase 2. And it's much better to manage expectations with leadership as well. Okay, great question. How do you quantify qualitative variables? Is there a method? Whoa, yeah. In our black belt training, I presented a technique named QFD, Quality Function Deployment. Depending on the complexity or how abstract the voice of the customer is, you want to apply a certain technique to help you translating the VOC into CTQ, but in theory, we can translate everything into numbers, even if it is a qualitative approach. When I ask you guys, on a scale from 0 to 10, how is my audio? It's qualitative. I get numbers. I get 10s, 9. You know, it's numbers, but it's not quantitative, it's qualitative. But there is value in that. There is a book. Let's see if the translation is correct. The art of measuring anything. I have it here, but it is in Portuguese. In English is how to measure anything. How to measure anything. Finding value of intangibles in business. Let me share with you guys. How to measure anything. It's a good literature. It's a good literature, okay? But we must be careful, and we must be aware that it's not only about translating into numbers. Many times we'll have numbers, but you know, it's better than nothing. But we'll be talking about this tomorrow. All measurement systems, they have errors. They operate with margin of errors. All of them, all of them, all of them. But the most important thing is to keep in mind that you want to translate things into number. You want to quantify performance as much as possible. It is ideal to address the problems with customers' personas when creating VOCs in it. Yeah, the data collection, it's an exercise. So you need to many times you need to recollect your data, yeah? But remember that you need, first of all, segment your customers and pick the most important segments. For the project, does it have to be a real-life issue, or we can come up to... No, my expectation with you guys is that I'm using here a simulated project, but my expectation is that you guys can apply that tomorrow. I know it's night in Asia, but I hope you guys can apply the things that I'm saying tomorrow, you know? How do we control? We explained that on the Thursday. On Thursday we have an entire session about control, yeah? Let me pick just one more. What could be the basis for the goal of average minutes reduction? Yeah, it must be historical data, okay? Pretty much historical data. And if you don't have historical data, then you need to run a data collection. And the period to collect data depends a lot on your process. The general rule of thumb is the ideal time window is 1 year, the past 12 months. But I know this is not realistic to many of you guys. So at least a month, Because the idea of 1 year is you should have a picture that captures an entire cycle. Yeah? So there are some phenomena that are seasonal, you know, and you want to capture that, yeah? So type happy if you are happy. Now we are going to the last part of our session today. For the last part of our session, that is to map current process. So listening to the voice of the customer helps identifying the problem that we want to tackle. Create a project charter helps us to set expectations with stakeholders, yes? And map current process. Now we are starting our investigation process. I'll say that again. Now we are starting our investigation process. So if you like CSI, if you like investigation, if you like Sherlock Holmes, you know, you will find many elements in terms of similarity. Very much, very much, very much, okay? And then I have something that I call a high-level process map, a helicopter view, and a detailed PMAP. And what is PMAP? Yeah? PMAP is pretty much the TC scan, remember? Yeah, CT scan in English, I'm sorry. Computerized tomography, is that right? The translation? Yeah, a CT scan. So when the doctor, the surgeon asked a CT scan of pretty much of my belly, you know, was to check the size of the hernia, the position and everything before surgery. Are you guys following me? It's pretty much to measure and also to map out, in this case, my body. Yeah? We want to map out the processes. But please, when we talk about mapping current process, the most important tool is not Qimo, it's not Visage, it's not Visio, it's not PowerPoint, it's not Excel, it's not Post-its. The most important tool is your shoes. I need you to walk the process. Too loud? Too loud? Attention, ladies and gentlemen, important announcement. If you believe that you'll be running your projects from a meeting room, you are wrong. I need you to walk the process. Type here for me, walk the process. Walk the process. Go to Gemba. Gemba is a Japanese word that means place of value or workplace. Go to Gemba, walk the process, smell the process, talk to people, respect people, observe, listen. Go to Gemba, walk the process. Don't run your projects from your computer. You know, walk the process, go to the place in this pizzeria, go to the kitchen, you know, observe, be respectful, don't finger point, you know, do like this and, oh, you are not, no, you observe, you go as a sponge, you go as a student, and then you just observe, and then from what you observed, you want to apply SciPoc. There are many different templates for SciPoc. There are many different templates for SciPoc, yeah. SciPoc stands for supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Okay, let me add one more. Below. Yeah, and so SciPoc, you always start by process. So I have observed that the process starts by, let me see if you guys agree, starts by order pizza, and always verb noun, order pizza, verb noun, okay, verb noun. Order pizza. Word cells. Oops. Then bake pizza, and then serve pizza. Okay? Serve pizza. The output is simple. Let's keep it simple. The output is pizza. And the customer is the most important segment. So we have decided to the most important segment in terms of revenue. Okay? It's a decision that we made. In terms of input, we are going to use the famous 6M's, okay? 6M's. So we have material. We have many things. Flour, we have olives, we have tomato, etc. Okay? Let's just put a few elements so just we have a sense of the tools, okay? Of the tool in this case. So we have material, we have machine, machine, let's suppose we have an oven. Yeah, let's put at least one per oven. We have, in order to make a pizza, I have observed that we have method, we have pizza recipe, and you can put more elements. I am just keeping it as simple as possible, okay guys? Then we have measurement, for example, thermostat. Then we have environment or mother nature, environment, that is the kitchen. And we have one that I don't like very much, this expression, but it's very much used, manpower. Then we have the chef, for example, okay? So once again, let's keep it as simple as possible so you guys have a sense of the players, okay? And see that I am not yet talking about the recipe is wrong, that's why we have quality problems. The oven is broken. I'm not talking about that. I'm just placing the elements. I'm just placing, it's a process map. I'm not talking about, oh, the hernia is the, no. I'm gonna fix by using this kind of a procedure. No. I'm just checking, you know, the elements. Do you guys understand that? And for supplier, I will be putting the immediate responsible. So for example, for the tomato, I don't talk about the supplier of tomato. I think of, if you have problems with the tomato, internally, you will be talking to whom? Oh, if I have problems with material in general, I'll be talking to the chef. If I have problem with the oven, I'll be talking to Alice, that is the owner. If I have problems with the pizza recipe, I'll be talking to the chef. If I have problems with the thermostat, I will be talking to Alice. If I have problems with the kitchen, I'll be talking to Alice. And if I have problems with the chef, I'll be talking to Alice as well. Do you guys understand that? So for the very first time, I have a list of elements of potential suspects. I am facing problems in terms of quality and delivery because of the flour, because of the olives, because of the tomato, and or because of the oven, because of the recipe, because of the thermostat, because of the kitchen, because of the chef. Do you guys understand that? And in case I have problems with these elements, I will need help. I will need the influence, the buy-in from chef and from Alice. That's why SciPoc is so important, because you can't run a project on your own. You are not a superhero. You are not Superman. You are not Iron Man. You don't need to play the hero. You will need help, you will need support from other people, and you will need what we call buy-in from leadership. Do you guys understand that? So in case you have a terrible relationship with Alice, you may be considering running another project. And this is real. I had one case in my career. Maybe one of my strengths is negotiation, is argumentation with other people. So I would say maybe I am good in connecting to other people, you know, and building alliances, you know, with my peers, with my team, and also with the leaders. But I did have a problem with a leader in Colombia, you know, once. And in one of my projects that I was leading, she was showing up in the SIPOC many, many times. And then I asked to put another person. Because many times when you burn a bridge with a person, you know, depending on the degree of how broken is the bridge, you simply cannot fix it, especially in corporate, yeah? And then you must be wise enough, because we must optimize the usage of our time. Is that right? Beautiful. From 0 to 10, how much are we on the same page? Type here. So this is SIPOC. And then from SIPOC, yeah, I want to go for the detailed PMAP. And the detailed PMAP, I'll be putting here. Order pizza. Guys, if you are enjoying this session, please subscribe to my channel. Now it's an important moment for you to give a like, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you'll have access to this content and much more, and you'll be helping this message to get to many more people, okay? And you can be sure that this content can be helpful to many people. So please give a like, thumbs up, and also subscribe to Marcelinho's. In Brazil, we say Marcelinho. To Marcelinho's channel. This is the largest YouTube channel of a person, not a school, a person that is teaching Lean Six Sigma live to people from more than 108 countries, yeah? Surpassing the challenges of live sessions. Am I right or wrong? Wonderful. And if you are a LinkedIn user, I would be honored to have you as LinkedIn follower. Yeah, Marcelo Machado Fernandes. Beautiful. Order pizza, and then we know that the last step is serve pizza. Yeah? Serve pizza. So after ordering pizza, we can say that separate ingredients. Let's suppose we have observed that, okay? Don't put from your mind. In this case, it's a simulated project. But in a real project, you wanna indicate what you saw in reality. Separate ingredients. Prepare pizza dough. Yeah? Then add initial ingredients, add initial ingredients. Then let's say add initial ingredients, bake pizza, add final ingredients, and then serve pizza. Let's keep it as simple as possible. For detailed PMAP, I recommend not indicating more than 50, okay? 50. So add ingredients and then bake pizza. And then with a process map, you will be able to understand, how is your current state. We call this current state. And you can be sure that when you do that and you look to your problems, you will be enlightened in a way that, wow, I want to deep dive in this process step. I want to check how are they adding final ingredients. I want to deep dive the baking process. There's a serve pizza. Are you guys following me? So you may highlight here, you can color code. And indicate here, for example, I want to deep dive on these two processes, And you can be sure there is something magical that happens when you have a process map, okay? Guys, type eye-opening if you are enjoying that, and I hope this time ran as fast for you as it ran for me. Thank you so very much. Today, January 5th, is a day that I will never forget. Because you guys gave special, important, and unforgettable evidences that you truly want this. What we saw today in our session 1 with literally thousands of people here, I know it's Monday night for the vast majority of you. What I saw here, you guys staying here with me, even knowing we had some technical issues at the beginning of this. This is a live event. There is a level of unpredictability, factors that are uncontrollable outside our control region. And you guys stayed with me, and I can argue that I am a person that I never give up on things that I believe. But you guys showed even more. So you do not give up. And I am 100% confident that the things that you've learned today, that you can apply tomorrow in the place where you work for, and the things that we'll be learning during these days will be transformative to you. Even if we find vectors, elements that want to prevent us from learning, we are gonna fight. Until the end. And I feel fortunate to be among special people like you guys that are learning about Lean Six Sigma, powerful methods to solve chronic problems using the MAKE framework. Today we had a special conversation about VOC. Go outside yourself and be on other people's shoes. Actively listen to the voice of the customer, spoken and unspoken. Segment your customers, pick the best segments, translate the VOC into CTQ, critical to quality, into measurable parameters. From there, let's write down a good problem statement using the pyramid structure, introduction, and then negative consequences. Basically, financial negative consequences. Let's balance VOC with VOB, voice of the business. Businesses must be profitable. We must be aware of that. Then let's use SMART principle, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound to set our goals. Yeah? And we must have one goal statement per CTQ. Then we had a chance to talk about the importance of going to Gemba, go to Gemba, go to Gemba. Stand up and walk the process. Go to Gemba, go to Gemba. Walk the process, smell the process. Yeah? And then map high level, SIPOC, and detailed PMAP is also very much important as we showed here. With that, we close the first session on define phase. Tomorrow is one of my favorite sessions, yeah, and tomorrow I'll have the best of the best. I want to see everybody tomorrow, but normally we have half, and that's it. It's a funnel. Today I have the best people. Tomorrow I'll have the best of the best, and that's okay. I want to have the right people, the right people. I want to have only the right people. I don't care if tomorrow I have half of the people. I am filtering out. I want to have tomorrow the best of the best, the best of the best. And then on Wednesday, the best of the best of the best. And then on Thursday, the best of the best of the best of the best. Because this is about real and true transformation. I know that the impact in your career in terms of employability is huge, huge. You don't need to depend. You don't need to depend on this specific job that you are in right now. If you feel that you are undervalued, if you feel that you can give more, if you feel that you have this potential and you are using this, I feel very confident that these certifications, the content that you are learning, can help you go into another place, or maybe showing your relevance in the place where you are, or maybe starting your own job as an independent consultant, or maybe opening up an SME, a small and medium enterprise, a local business. There are so many possibilities. So many possibilities. The only thing I ask is pen and paper. Write down, okay? I would be honored if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and also to my LinkedIn. Give us a like, and once again, today you gave a marvelous, a wonderful piece of evidence that you are strong. Type here for me, we do not give up. We do not give up. It will make our celebration on these certifications even more special. Next Monday, we'll be remembering that we had a bumpy start, a challenging start, and we made it. We made it, no matter what. We made it. We took quick actions, to surpass the technical issues, and we made it, okay? And this is because of you. This is because of you. Thank you so very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. You guys will be receiving via WhatsApp. If you want to invite more people to join our program, the registration link is in the description. And also, it's very, very much important that you stay tuned in your email and also WhatsApp, because we are using both, because the email deliverability is tricky. Sometimes you get, sometimes goes to your spam folder. So if we operate with WhatsApp and also email, we maximize the chances of getting the message to you, okay? Thank you, Janice. Thank you so very much, Aubrey. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much, Robert Cruz. Thank you so very much, Vinny, Arnold. Thank you so very much, Kenny, Christine, Joanne. Thank you, Ruthie. and all my people from the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Jamaica. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. And thank you very much for my support team. Especially today. I have so many people. Yeah, believe me, in order to run an event like that, it's impossible to run by myself. So I have an amazing support team with me here. I have Lara Fernandez. Thank you, Larinha. Special thank you for Carlos Nunes and also for Tarcisio. Lifesavers. Thank you so very much. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.